Hi y'all, amateur artist Martha E. Chandler here from Manland, and I'm in total shock. Thinking about doing steak tonight, and I'm looking at the price of steak sauce. I know, if you got a good steak you shouldn't use steak sauce. But let me show you the prices of the steak sauce. A1, 5-ounce bottle, $3.55. The 10-ounce bottle, $5.33. Black pepper, $5.33. Also in the 10-ounce. A1 in the 15-ounce, $6.07. The cheap brands, $3.29 in the 10-ounce. The 15-ounce, oh, it's on sale for $4.13. We'll also look at the A1 thick and hearty sauce, 10-ounce bottle, $5.33. Man, these things, they're almost the price of steaks. What's going on, steak sauce people? Yeah, I had to come over here to the dollar aisle to find something that I can afford. Steak sauce. Good old-fashioned, reliable Pampa brand. Pampa brand, 11 ounces, $1. Does it taste worth a damn? To me, for $1, you better believe it. What are you steak sauce people doing? Are you grinding up your steaks and putting them in the steak sauce now? Come on. Ridiculous. Charging that kind of price for steak sauce. It's unreal. Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm sitting there complaining about the price of steak sauce. You should have seen the prices of the steak. I mean, look, I couldn't even show the prices of the steaks. These things were high. But hey, no problem. We're going to still sit there and cook some steak anyway. What you see right there before you is a shoulder roast. And there's a little trick I'm going to tell you. That right there is actually steak. And most people don't realize that's steak. But I'm going to show you that it's actually steak. Depends on the thickness and how it's cut, how it's marketed, and how it's sold. What do I know? I used to work in the meat department. I know. Alright, what you're looking at right here is a shoulder roast. It is 2.07 pounds. The price for this is $3.88 a pound, which comes to a grand total of $8.03. We're going to slice this big thick puppy into two halves. His and hers, if you want to put it that way. There's the slab of meat itself. Use yourself a sharp knife. I'm not saying this knife is sharp, not in the whole least. But we're going to sit there and cut this into two steaks. It's going to be about almost 3/4 to a full inch a piece. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have two very nice steaks here. You're saying, I know what you're saying. You're saying, hey, Mark, shoulder steaks. That's a very tough piece of meat. And how in the world are you going to turn that into a steak? Well, I'm going to show you. This is actually a thicker piece of cut than this. That's why I call it his and hers. And what we're going to do is we're going to trim off some of the tough fleam. We're going to leave the fat in there because that's the best part of tenderization there is. And remember, this was a roast. It was cut thick for a roast. But we're going to actually turn this into a piece of meat that not only will melt into your mouth, but it will definitely make you want to dig up your mama and slap her. But then again, your mama may come back and dig you up too and slap you because she's like, I told you so. Mama knew her cuts of meat. She knew what it took to get things done. Here's the secret, ladies and gentlemen. And no, it's not necessarily a Taco Baka bottle, but this happened to be my trademark. I love it. It's an actual glass bottle. Remember old school technology? Mom used to use old Coca-Cola bottles. Well, I use the Taco Baka bottle. And you've got to do what Bone Jar says, beating your meat. And what happens, and we'll hit this a few times. Let me hit one right here in the middle. Pick it up and show it to you. Zoom in. See how it makes that ring? It's actually cutting into the meat. But it's not pulverizing the meat. Now you've got meat tenderizers made out of aluminum. Sometimes they're wooden. Those big mallets. Those things are great, but what they do is they flatten the steak. This actually chops it up once you go back and forth. This will actually flatten the meat, but it's cutting rings into it. Ladies and gentlemen, this is old school. This is the deal. Now Wee-Wee's got a wooden mallet. Let me show you the difference. There's the wooden tenderizer. Now it does a fine job, but it has a tendency, because it's lightweight, is to, once you pound it, I'm going to show it to you. Get up here and show it to you. See how it, this is the bottle version. This is the wooden mallet version right here. Look. That actually flattens the meat. And that's fine if you want a flat steak. We're not doing that. Well, I actually did that, but that's not what we're doing here. We're going to go old school. We're going to use the actual bottle. Glass bottles work the best. And we're going to cut into the meat. And what we're doing on one side, we will flip it and do the other side as well. We're going to cut into the fat, the whole 9 yards. We're going to flip it, do the other side, and we're actually tenderizing that meat in a way you would not believe. Now at this point, for those of you that like that natural or meat tenderizer, this is where you probably would want to add it when you do your marinade. But I don't like putting meat tenderizer on my meat. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit phobic about that. I mean, yeah, you could take hydrochloric acid and throw it on the meat and want it to sit there and dissolve. But to me, like, meat tenderizer is the same thing, it's just not as fast. And then I'm going to sit there and ingest that in my system. I'd rather go with a mechanical, or in this case, glass type of tenderization. But now I'm going to marinate. Now this is not a cooking episode here. It's just about tenderization. That's what this is all about. I'm going to go ahead and marinate some of my favorite marinades for about a couple hours in the refrigerator. I'm going to put it over some lump charcoal grill. Ooh, coals that is. Oh. Gonna be good. And I got a little another something else there. Caveman steaks versus traditional on the grill steaks, to find out if one is actually better than the other. Okay, what you see before you now is some lump charcoal. That's right, lump charcoal, not the briquettes. Now there's a reason why I love lump charcoal, but I'll let you know that in a future video. See how it glistens? It's glistening for a reason. That's because we got something called used cooking oil impregnated inside them lump charcoals. Now, you may be wondering, what in the world? Well, I don't like using charcoal starter or any type of lighter fluid in my cooking process. It just tastes gnarly. So what we're going to do, we're going to use cooking oil. We're going to light it with a ferro rod, and it's going to work just nice. Now what we got here is a cotton ball. Oh, well, that happens. We're gonna use a cotton ball, not just one, but several. Why am I using a cotton ball? Just because it's fun and it's flammable. I love cotton balls. They're cheap. They're inexpensive. You can get cotton ball from the cotton fields and everywhere else in the whole 9 yards. But we're gonna take these first two and soak them down in there. I actually put a couple of them right there on top of it. Now, why are we using cotton balls? Like I said, it's fun. Folks, don't hate this video because you don't understand. Hate the video because you ain't got no imagination. That's right. There's a lot of so-called couch potato bushcrafters out there that don't get out there and practice in the real world and just have fun. Fire starting techniques are always out there. Now that right there is a nice 4-ball situation of cotton balls. And like I said, we're going to start with a ferro rod. Here's our cotton ball set up, all nice and fluffy. Not quite as fluffy as I like it, but we got cooking oil or the lump charcoal, ferro rod, one strike, we've got a fire. That's what I'm screaming, folks. Learn how to adapt and learn how to make it work. Oh, by the way, we're using Frontier Mesquite lump charcoal. Sorry about that, folks. I thought I'd do a little bit of an advertisement just for them. hey, the bag itself is even flammable. Well, alrighty. We got the steak marinated. And yeah, it kind of looks like a little bit of creamy color. Don't know how well the camera's going to show up the color here. But this right here had to be mayonnaise, mustard, a little Worcestershire sauce, some onion powder, onion garlic, hot sauce, a few other little secret ingredients that I can't remember. That's why it looks like the way it looks. We're going to cook this one here on top of the grill as it is. You can hear the sizzle. Looks big and bulky. That's because we tenderize it, y'all. But this test is not about flavor. This test is about the actual caveman tenderness. So I'm comparing this to the tenderness of the caveman style cooking. That's what I'm trying to do here. I don't know if it's going to work. Hey, we're going to try it. Cook this first. And we'll take the next piece of meat, a small portion, and do it on the actual coals direct itself. Look at that right there, folks. She's ready to come off. Here's our control. We're getting ready to put the piece of meat on there directly on the coals for the caveman style. I'm blowing the white ash off because when I put the steak on there, I'm going to try to give it the best, absolute best go I can go. So, here we go. There, up, reaching around. Here's my cutting board. Here's the actual steak. I'm going to lay it directly on the coals. We're going to do this caveman style. And I'm going to watch this very, very closely. Now, while this is cooking, I want to sit there and give you my 2 cents worth. If this caveman style cooking was so daggum good, even in a bushcraft survival type of situation, yes, it can be done. I'm not arguing that fact. It will cook your food, and it will be something edible to sustain you. But if the flavor is so daggum good, then we would be paying like $100 an ounce of steak at some fancy steak recipe house, steakhouse. We would be eating this stuff all the time, but we don't. And I'm thinking I know why. When you flip the steak, you're going to have charcoal and grit attached to it. A lot more so because I got crumbs here. But if it was so well received in the world of excellent taste, we would have this stuff over and over and over again. So this is kind of a myth-busting cuisine. Cooking steak caveman style may not be the best. However, I could be wrong. And y'all better believe me, I hope that I'm wrong. Getting ready to flip this thing now because, well, I see a part of the steak starting to burn already. Alright, this hasn't been but about 3 minutes. I know that the steak is going to have charcoal attached to it. Y'all see, hey, there's not a whole lot on there. That's cool. Ooh. Oh. There's not a whole lot of charcoal attached to that. I'm very, very impressed. It's got a little bit of char here and here. I don't know how well the camera's showing up, but it's got a little bit of char here and here. But no real charcoal was attached to it. And remember, I'm cooking on crumbs. Look, let me just a little light blow. That may be something to it. I hope I'm wrong on this. Folks, I hope I'm wrong. I'm thinking this may be something worthwhile. Restaurants, pay attention. This may be the next billion-dollar cuisine. Folks, ladies and gentlemen, let me show you the sizzling action there on the coals. This thing is ready to flip again, I believe. But I was so impressed with the cleanliness of the flip, on that first flip. Let's do it again here. This may not be as nice. Let's find out. Oh. Meat's still tender. We'll flip it. Alright, now we have a little bit of charcoal sticking, but not much. Not bad. Let me scrape it off. Not bad. But let me raise this piece of meat up. Look at the dark spot there. That's cool. It's like the meat cooled the coals down. That could be a good thing. Now I got a little bit of charcoal here, which is kind of what I expected. But not bad. I am very, very impressed here. This may be cooking better. Let me put it this way. Right now, without me saying too much. The caveman may have known how to cook better than modern man. We're going to find out. I'm going to give this about another minute to 2 minutes. We're going to flip it again. We're going to give it a taste test there on the actual plate. Wee Wee of Wee Wee's World will definitely let you know if this is good or not. It may be a little tougher. Hey, I see some smoke. Cool. Not bad. I got to check it again. I got to. I should have let it rest it, but I didn't. All right, a little bit of coals there, but that's to be expected. Oh, to be expected. Not bad. Not bad at all. I'm really, really looking forward to this. I'm going to try this for the very first time. I've had this before, but I didn't cook it. Somebody else did. And to be honest, I wasn't that impressed. But right now, I've got a lot of high hopes. This may be a first for manland, caveman style cooking. I kind of like this. Hey, if this works, can you cook some baked beans like this? Directly on the coal? Well, we'll find out in another video.
Okay, I'm fixing to try out this caveman style cooked steak.
Let me zoom in on your plate.
It's going to be this piece right here.
Ooh, yeah.
And it's medium to medium rare. And there's not a lot of seasoning, so we should be able to taste the exact taste of the steak.
And that big piece is the one cooked traditionally on a modern day grill. Well, as modern day as you can get. But look at that baked potato. Oh. Baked potatoes cooked in the microwave, baby. Yeah, the only way to go. There's a salad with ranch dressing. So, back up to Wee Wee. Here we go.
All right. Oh, you can tell it's tender because I just put the fork on it and it's squishy.
Oh, I missed it. Squishy.
See how squishy?
Oh, yeah.
So that means it's tender. So the medium rare, that's right.
Even Roxy's right. She's really
No,
into
Roxy.
that. She's really into it.
You quit sneaking. I'm watching you. And it's not tough. I'm just cutting easy so I don't spill the plate in the floor. Because I don't have a hand to hold the plate with. Plus I have to watch Roxy. Okay.
Steak sauce or not steak sauce?
Well, it got in the steak sauce,
Okay.
but I prefer no steak sauce on my steak.
Right. Let's try it. Let's go for tenderness, not flavor.
Right. Look at that. Medium rare.
Oh wait, zoom in.
Medium rare.
Medium rare. Yeah, I can see the red and the pink. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's a good steak.
That's very good. Yes.
Now let's go for
Tenderness, not necessarily flavor.
very tender.
Now,
A little more rare than I like, but it's still good.
all right. Do you taste the grit?
No,
Like charcoal grit?
no. It tastes like a pure flame broiled steak.
Just a little bit,
You
maybe
don't-
a little bit too raw?
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I was scared. I pulled it off quick.
Just a little bit. But now
Okay.
this piece right here, this one is more medium.
Okay.
This piece is more medium.
And that's still caveman?
Yes,
Let's try that.
still caveman. Oh, better.
Ooh.
Still even more tender.
Wow.
And that's crazy because medium rare should be the most tender.
Yeah, it should be.
But that medium is excellent. It's right on. And it's just like a flame broiled steak. There is no cold grit, burnt taste, anything.
Well, I'm curious. If this thing is so good, why don't restaurants do this every single day?
Some restaurants do flame broil.
They flame broil, but do they cook directly on the coals?
They cannot do that because it's public.
Ah, so it's
Health and safety.
yeah,
They can't
EPA
do that.
stuff. In other words, you might get a hold of some charcoal and somebody might sue.
You can do it for yourself, but
Yeah.
restaurants can't do that. That's a health and safety
Wow.
issue.
Ladies and gentlemen, that right there is Wee Wee's official taste test. Now we're going to back up and let her do the actual grilled version, which is the big steak. Roxy's having a fit. She's wanting some of that steak.
Oh, let me give her a bite. Let her give you her.
Yeah, she needs to.
Let Roxy give you her.
Little caveman. We need a Roxy seal of approval.
Yeah. What you think, Roxy? Look at there, gone.
She didn't even chew. She just swallowed.
Look at there.
Look
See
at
how tender that is? It's gone.
It's like baby food to her. All right, let's try the actual taste test now. Y'all see the Pampa brand steak sauce. I'm sorry, it bled into the plate there. Here is the traditional style.
I'm gonna get a piece away from the steak sauce though.
There you go.
And
Remember, this is the tough steak. This is the shoulder steak that everybody says is too tough to be a steak.
and I'm using my favorite paring knife. It's because it's little. I like the grip. The blade is a little short and thin, but I can handle it. 'Cause other big knives, I'll go to cut and everything will go off my plate. If it ain't for that, it's going to end up on my shirt.
Yeah, now she need a baby bib.
Yeah.
Alright, now here's a traditional style. Remember, not necessarily flavor, but tenderness.
That particular piece is more tender.
More tender?
Only by just a smidgen.
Well, I can see why, because when you put the meat directly on the coals, it cooks quicker.
Yeah.
A quick cook, quick sear means a little tougher piece of meat.
But it's only just a smidgen now.
But now, here's my thing. Would you have ever believed that that was actually shoulder steak?
No.
Is it tender?
It's tender.
I ain't gonna say it melts in your mouth, but
Almost.
for
both ways.
For a poor man's type of steak, at the price it was, which is very cheap, compared. If you had a ribeye steak or a T-bone steak compared to that, what do you think?
Oh, this is just as good, if not better.
Well, there you have it, folks. Without coaching, I'm telling you right now, a cheap piece of meat done right, correctly, you can sit there and eat like a king. No need to pay that price for the high-priced meat, because there's no guarantee. Everybody out there knows when you buy a ribeye steak, it's what potluck. You hope it's gonna be tender. Same thing with a T-bone. You just hope it's gonna be tender.
It all depends on the cook.
It definitely does.
A good steak depends on the cook.
There you go. And
Whoa,
Roxy's
look at
having a
that.
fit. Roxy's having a fit.
That's medium rare right there, and that came from the center.
Let's try
I
that.
thought I'd try it.
It may be a little tougher.
Well, you see, it's really rare.
Let me zoom in. Yeah. Ooh, yeah, rare.
That's tender too, but the medium rare is even more tender.
Wow.
And that's backwards.
I know, it's kind of like crazy.
Okay, let me give my baby a piece. Let her test the rare.
Well, we know she's gonna like it.
Boy, she has a duck. Boy, that's funny, a chihuahua having a duck.
She licking her lips. What is it, Roxy?
She's
Roxy.
just a crying. She's just a crying.
She wants your meat.
We should have made her own plate.
She wants her a caveman.
Okay, Roxy. This one is rare. Now, what you think? You gonna talk to me? You can't get no more tender than that.
That's right, she didn't even chew.
It's gone.
So, how do we end the video? As amateur artist Mark D. Channel would always say,
Finger licking good.
Well, this is amateur artist Mark D. Chandler once again from Manland, wishing you and y'all a very happy YouTube experience out there. And remember this, no matter how much you think you know, especially me, is what I know, I've learned something here. Actual caveman steak is very not only possible, but actually delicious. And you don't have just my word to say for that. You've got Roxy, and you've got Wee. And ladies and gentlemen, y'all may not realize this. It's very hard to impress this woman in real life. It really is.
No, it's not. Oh.
But you got the Manland seal of approval in honesty right there. No doubt about it. Y'all take them easy and take them care. Amateur artist Mark D. Channel once again from Manland. Y'all have fun out there. If you get a chance, try you some caveman steak. You won't be disappointed. And Rosie just won't shut up. She's begging.
She says that's good stuff. Sitting there with her feet crossed. She's being so polite.